In a world ruled by swords and empires, one man battled not with force, but with thought. From the streets of Syracuse to the depths of bathwater brilliance, Archimedes defied kings, lifted oceans, and whispered equations into eternity. His story begins not with war, but with wonder. Archimedes, a life of infinite wonder and eternal impact. The seed of genius, childhood in Syracuse. Archimedes was born around 287 BCE in the ancient Greek city-state of Syracuse, located on the island of Sicily. His father, Phidias, was an astronomer, and it's likely that Archimedes' early exposure to celestial navigation and mathematical precision planted the seeds of his lifelong obsession with discovery. Though details of his childhood are sparse, stories suggest Archimedes was a naturally inquisitive child, endlessly curious about shapes, motion, and the invisible rules that govern nature. He was reportedly sent to Alexandria, Egypt, to study at the famed Library of Alexandria, where scholars from across the known world exchanged ideas. There, Archimedes encountered Euclidean geometry and the teachings of Pythagoras and Aristotle. It was not simply rote learning, it was the sharpening of a blade that would soon cut through the fabric of the known world. Eureka moments and mathematical mastery. Archimedes returned to Syracuse with a fire in his mind. He began diving deep into mathematical thought, producing works that would reshape understanding for centuries. Here are just a few of his astonishing breakthroughs. Calculation of pi. Archimedes devised methods to approximate the value of pi with unprecedented accuracy. He used polygons with up to 96 sides, pushing the limits of geometry. Method of exhaustion. A precursor to integral calculus, this technique allowed him to calculate areas and volumes with remarkable precision. The spiral of Archimedes. He studied curves and described the spiral that still bears his name, demonstrating a stunning intuition about motion and form. On the equilibrium of planes, Archimedes laid down the fundamentals of statics and center of gravity in this treatise, concepts we still rely on in engineering and physics. One of the most famous anecdotes about his intellect comes from his discovery of buoyancy. King Hero of Syracuse suspected that his newly made golden crown was mixed with silver, and tasked Archimedes with verifying its purity without damaging it. While bathing, Archimedes noticed the water level rising as he entered, leading him to discover how objects displace water based on their volume. Overwhelmed with excitement, he reportedly ran through the streets shouting, "Eureka!" Greek for "I have found it." Inventor and engineer bridging thought and utility, Archimedes wasn't just a thinker. He was a builder, an engineer whose innovations would be adopted across centuries. Archimedean screw, designed to raise water efficiently, especially useful in agriculture and irrigation. Variants of this device are still used in modern systems across the world. Compound pulleys. He made lifting heavy objects easier by developing systems of pulleys that minimized the force required, laying the groundwork for mechanical advantage. Burning mirrors. According to legend, Archimedes used mirrors to focus sunlight and set Roman ships ablaze during battle, a claim debated by historians but inspiring nonetheless. One of Archimedes' quotes captures his mind perfectly. "Give me a place to stand, and I will move the earth." This was a metaphor for the power of the lever, a simple machine he understood and employed brilliantly. Defender of Syracuse, a mind for war. During the Second Punic War, circa 218 to 201 BCE, Syracuse found itself under siege by Roman forces. Despite being a man of science, Archimedes used his skills to design formidable war machines to defend his city. Catapults and ballistas. These machines hurled projectiles with deadly precision, leveraging Archimedes' calculations of range and tension. Crane-like claws. Devices that could lift enemy ships from the water and smash them, described by later historians as iron hands. Tactical geometry. His knowledge of angles and motion allowed Syracuse to resist the siege for years. Even the Roman general Marcus Claudius Marcellus, who led the assault on Syracuse, was in awe of Archimedes, instructing his soldiers to capture him alive. A tragic death and the fragility of brilliance. Despite Marcellus's command, Archimedes was killed during the sack of Syracuse around 212 BCE. Various accounts differ, but the most famous tells that he was engrossed in his drawings, circles in the sand, when a soldier approached. Annoyed at being interrupted, Archimedes allegedly said, "Do not disturb my circles." The soldier, unaware of the old man's identity, struck him down. It was a brutal end to a mind of quiet nobility and boundless wonder. Legacy etched in time. Though he died a tragic death, Archimedes' legacy lives on in every corner of modern science and mathematics. Centuries later, giants like Galileo Galilei, Johannes Kepler, and Isaac Newton praised his genius. In fact, Newton once said that Archimedes' work had inspired him profoundly, calling him one of the greatest mathematical minds to ever live. Modern engineers, physicists, and mathematicians still use concepts invented by Archimedes. His writings survive in translations across cultures, proving that the force of intellectual curiosity can transcend the barriers of time, geography, and language. Why Archimedes still inspires today? Archimedes reminds us that brilliance is not only about knowing, it's about discovering. His life teaches us to look deeper, to find joy in solving problems, and to elevate thinking into practical solutions. He gave the world answers it hadn't yet learned to ask. Long after the empire crumbled, Archimedes' mind remains, in every formula, in every machine, in every moment we dare to say, Eureka!